2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans.
Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by.
Now, here's JP.
All right, happy hump day, everybody. That's our first weekend without Bucs football. I'm already going into non-football season depression. But, hey, the USFL is right around the corner, everybody. Todd Haley and the Tampa Bay Bandits are coming to town. Can't wait. Actually, I'm looking forward to that. I just haven't really sunk into it yet. Nick Edit from Outkick.com joins me this morning. How are you, sir? Better than our good friend Antonio Brown?
I don't know. He seems to be living the life. He gets to control his own narrative. He gets to go on all these talk shows, and I'm sure he's making a pretty good amount of money doing it. I think he actually is enjoying it better than me right now.
Did Brian Gumbel not see the Robin Roberts, Juicy Smollett interview? That is, and I love Robin Roberts to death. It's got to be the most embarrassing moment of her career. Oh, I'm so sorry this happened to you, Juicy. And now he's gonna, Brian Gumbel, as respected a sports journalist that I can even recall in my lifetime, is going to sit down with Antonio Brown and give him any credibility whatsoever to these obviously baseless allegations that his ankle was so hurt that he couldn't play, and that was the reason that Bruce Arians kicked him off the sidelines. It is patently untrue. It's not the way things work in the NFL, and Bryant Gumbel damn well knows it. And it's complete fantasy, yet they're going to continue to give Antonio Brown credibility. All right, we're going to play some of the audio from the upcoming interview that's coming up tonight. I know a lot of you are like, why are we even talking about this jerk? Well, because this has an effect on the organization, and it has an effect on Bruce Arians. And like it or not, Tom Brady is very sensitive to public opinion and how it forms in around him and against him or whatever. And if he's in any way seen as, supporting Bruce Arians and this, this old white guy that treated Antonio Brown so poorly, like kicked him off the team for not trying to play injured, which is such a freaking just false narrative. It's going to affect his decision on whether he comes back or not. If he's involved in some turmoil where, did Antonio Brown really, was he hurt? What was the deal? What happened? He don't want to deal with any of that. I mean, this is an important time for the organization. It's an important time that they put their best foot forward. It's an important time that they focus on putting the band back together for one more year so Brady can make a run. This is going to be the story that dominates the Tampa Bay airwaves for quite some time until Tom makes a decision. And we're going to be looking at all different types of, memes and pictures and things that he puts up and try to put meaning into them. I mean, yesterday he put up a big shot of the packed Raymond James Stadium, thanking all the Buccaneers fans for all their support. I don't see that affecting him either way. That being a tell either way. He's going to do that one way or another. It did seem like a goodbye to me. And we had TJ Reeves on yesterday, Buck sideline guy, and he and I both believe that the timing just doesn't seem right. And as of Monday, by the way, the Vegas odds for him coming back, being the starting quarterback for the Bucs, were minus 1,500. That he was coming back, and it was a plus 600 for no. Those are heavy odds that he's coming back. And, Vegas always knows, right? So I just think it's just anything that's negative surrounding the team is not going to be something that's going to lend itself to Brady coming back. Now, obviously, Antonio Brown's not going to be around here next year. But again, this could drag him into some type of national spotlight where Brady doesn't want to be. Choose who you're supporting, AB or your coach, right? You don't want any part of that. I wish he would. I wish he would just stand up for his coach. I wish a lot of the players would stand up and say, no, that's not what happened. It's not what happened. Eventually, somebody's going to have to stand up. And by the way, there's mics all over the sideline. I'm still shocked that we haven't gotten recordings of this conversation. I don't think, and maybe the Bucs have it. Certainly the Bucs have it, and the NFL has possession of it, and if they do have any sound, and there's microphones all over the sideline, they'll release it at the proper time. But I just have a real problem with journalists like Brian Gumbel, who have such tremendous credibility, lending any support to these claims. Let's play. HBO released about 2.5 minute clip, and let's listen to Knucklehead. And I'm just shocked that they're well, obviously this is just a clip, so we haven't seen the whole interview. We'll see it tonight, but here it is.
Prior to the game on January 2nd, the game against the New York Jets at the Meadowlands, were you given shots of Toradol?
Absolutely. Right before the game, I was given Toradol.
We actually have, Bryant, in the medical records that we've reviewed, evidence that the team regularly injected Antonio with Toradol.
Like other players.
He couldn't feel the damage that he was doing to his ankle until it got to that threshold point where he told his coach, I can't play because of my ankle. And the coach's response to that was, get the F off the field.
Okay, so the Bucs shot you with Toradol in the week before the Carolina game, correct?
Absolutely.
They shot you again before the Jets game, correct?
Absolutely.
And you
Can
played
you
the
stop
first
this
half
down?
and had...
Why is Bryant Gumbel framing this that way? The Bucs shot you. The Bucs shot you. You agreed to take the shot. You asked for the shot. This is what players do. The team doesn't run around with needles of Toradol in the locker room just pointing out people, let's go get him. Let's go get him. Let's go get him. That's not the way it works. The way they're framing this, the way we're allowing Antonio Brown to frame this, is like does that not, to an uneducated person, does that not sound like what he's alleging? At no point does he agree to say, oh yeah, of course I agreed to take it. Am I wrong?
It's like coming off like Antonio's like trying to say this is like this awful drug that they're giving me.
Yes.
And it's like killing him or something.
Right. And every football player agrees to take it.
It's the most common practice we know in football, probably,
Yes.
in regards to shooting somebody up.
Yeah. And players do it all the time. They're allowed to do it. They choose to do it. No player is ever given a shot of Toradol to play in a game against their will. Never. It's not how it works. I mean, players do what they have to do to get ready to play. This is the ugly secret of the NFL. And for you to now come on afterwards to act like this is some vaccine mandate, some Toradol mandate, it's completely disingenuous. And how Brian Gumbel can be complicit in doing this and acting like that's the way it works when he knows damn well it's not. Now, we haven't seen the whole interview. Maybe at some point he goes, oh, of course you had to agree to take it. So I don't want to crush him too bad, but I would, why would you release this in that form? This is bad. I mean, I don't get this at all. I can't wait to see this whole interview, but that's bad. I mean, and again, repeating this claim that's why Bruce Arians told him to get up. We already know that there was a dust up in the locker room where he was bitching about his playing time. And I hope, for God's sakes, Brian Gumbel asked him about inviting toilet liquor into his room the night before. If he doesn't get into that, then what is this interview? I mean, can we not forget that he brought in what's her name? Ava Louise. Toilet liquor. So exposed himself to COVID and then his whole team in that way. And actually told her, wait till you see what I do tomorrow. Wait till you see what I do tomorrow. And that ain't about how many catches I'm going to get. Let's just be honest about that. All right, let's continue.
3 catches for 26 yards, correct?
Yes.
And Arians claims that at halftime then you were upset about not getting more balls thrown your way. True or false? Is he lying?
False. It's not worrying about the ball. Tom Brady is my guy. He's the reason I'm on Tampa Bay, so I know I'm going to get the ball.
Antonio, I saw where you seem to resent the feelings of so many former coaches and teammates that you were in need of mental assistance. Does that bother you?
Mental assistance from who?
Professional assistance.
To the extent any of that is coming from a spin that Antonio had a spontaneous mental episode, it's resentful and it's hurtful, and it's a disservice to people who do suffer from mental health challenges. We all have our difficulties, Antonio, myself, everybody.
Yeah, these guys at Tampa Bay Bucks try to make an agreement with me to give me $200,000 to go to the crazy house so these guys could look like they know what they're talking about. These guys unprofessional.
Wait.
They treated me
They
wrong.
offered you $200,000
Tell
for
'em.
what?
The offer was Antonio would basically sit on the sidelines, go on some list, and commit himself to some form of intensive mental health treatment. And we were specifically told in writing by the general manager twice, don't spin this any other way.
Antonio, do you think you need mental help of any kind?
I have mental wealth, man. I know a lot of people may not
Mental
understand me.
wealth. So the Bucks try to help him out and get him mental health experts. Like, I wish somebody would give me $200,000 to go away to get my mental health cleaned up. I think we could all use that. a nice vacation. And I'm not downplaying mental health. I think it would have been a great thing for him, quite frankly. I think that's a great that's an organ. The reason Jason Light said don't spin it any other way, because everybody knows you need mental health. People don't do what you do. Are there other players in the history of the game disrobing on the sideline and prancing off the field on your bad ankle? No, nobody else is doing this. Nobody else is attacking their general manager on the field like you did with the Raiders. Nobody else is doing the things that you've done. So either if you're saying you don't have mental issues, then you're the most narcissistic, anti-team, selfish dude in the history of the league. Either way, you shouldn't be around here in a team situation. And for Bryant Gumbel to be giving this credibility, it's just laughable. It's laughable. And Bryant Gumbel knows better than anybody how these things work. Coaches and players don't have conversations about whether they can play or not. That's up to the trainer and the player. And the trainer comes and tells the coach whether he can go or not. And anybody with two eyes can see damn well that Antonio Brown was not hurt in that game. He wasn't. But did he take Terodol for an ankle? Yeah, probably. Lots of players do that, and they play through it. Happens every week in the NFL. And you choose to take the Toradol. I mean, this assault on Bruce Arians and his credibility, I mean, this is what it's coming down to. And by the way, there were tons of people and players, and this is why I said it the week it happened, that the players need to come out and support Bruce Arians, support the organization, and say what they heard and what they know, that he was bitching about getting the ball. Why are the players so afraid to not step up?
You know, the other thing, too, he contradicted himself from his previous interview 2 weeks ago on that Full Send podcast. Remember when he said Brady wasn't my friend, like everybody painted it?
Yes.
And right here he said, Brady, my guy. He's the only reason why I was on the team.
Yeah.
So did he not contradict himself?
Of course he did. He contradicts himself every time. And this is what happens when people lie about stuff. And I cannot wait. And I hope at some point the Bucs release the audio on this, or at least have some players come out and say what they heard. Why are they not doing that? And here's the thing. If Bruce Arians did say that, it would be completely out of character, number one. Again, coaches don't make decisions to put players back in the game. That's done by the training staff. So I don't know why Bruce would ever have. And if you look at the history of these two players, who has the history of being beloved by their players and their coaches and their assistant coaches, having great relationships and honest relationships with the players, and who has the reputation of being a complete ass clown? And we're sitting here saying, well, who should we choose? Which version? Are you kidding me? This is I don't know what alternate universe we're living in these days, but this is just unbelievable. I'm not going to waste the whole show on this, but if you guys want to sound off on it, we'll retweet the audio and love to get your take on this. All right. Bruce Gradkowski is going to join us at 10:30 today. We're going to break down exactly what happened in the in the divisional playoff game, the comeback, the reasons why the Bucs did not go no huddle, et cetera, et cetera. And we'll look at all the quarterbacks in this week's upcoming games, the quarterback matchups. We got some great stuff coming up. So Bruce Gradkowski, Pro Football Focus, will join us at 10:30. Jason Romano is going to join us. Jason is a baseball agent now, one of the biggest in the game, and also was a first-round pick, played at Hillsborough High School, played for the Rays and the Rangers, was a teammate of A-Rod's as well. So Jason's going to come on and talk about PEDs and the Hall of Fame. He's done this before on our show. So because I think there's so many people, like the guy to my left, that are banging the drum for Clemens and Sosa and Barry Bonds to get into the Hall of Fame. And I guess we're starting to be in the minority, myself and Jason Romano. But I always, he's a guy that played the game and played the game in the steroid era, in some of the steroid era, and will clearly delineate why guys who use steroids should not be in the Hall of Fame. And I'll let him do that. I agree with him, although I will say the fact that David Ortiz went in and these guys did not is a little bit, especially on the first ballot, is a little bit of an eyebrow raiser. And the whole thing with Curt Schilling is really an eyebrow raiser, because with Curt, it's not PEDs, it's about his political beliefs. How can you keep a guy out of the Hall of Fame for his political beliefs? I can make the argument for steroids. I can't make the argument for political beliefs. That makes zero sense. Somebody needs to help me out with that one. So we'll talk with Jason Romano about that at 11:15. Mike Neighbors is going to join us tomorrow to talk about the Sean Payton story. We kind of talked a little bit about this yesterday, but it became official after our show. And if you're putting notches in columns as to things that are happening that might help Tom Brady come back, well, there's a big one. I mean, obviously the Saints are going to be in complete disarray with the new coaching staff coming in. They have no idea who their quarterback is going to be. Still have a good defense that befuddles Tom Brady. But my sense is that with Peyton leaving, that's a complete rebuild, and some of the players on that defense may be looking to go elsewhere if they're free agents. So I see a complete rebuild coming for the Saints as well.
He got the hell out of something he didn't want to be a part of.
Yeah.
$70 million over the cap the Saints are expected to be.
Yeah.
You can't do it. And they have no quarterback either on top of that. Well, you got Taysom Hill, but
you got no quarterback.
You got no quarterback.
You got no quarterback.
You got no quarterback there. So something he definitely wasn't part of. But I don't think Bucs fans are going to miss him. I don't think they're going to miss him one bit.
No, much respect for Sean Payton. I mean, and I don't think Bruce Arians is going to miss him either. Yeah, there are just certain coaches in this league that have your number, certain teams that have your number. It's a matchup league like nowhere else. That's why it's a week-to-week league. And the Bucs just don't match up well with Sean Payton, and the Saints, they don't match up well with Sean McVay. Maybe it's just coaches with the name Sean. I don't know. Everybody is named Sean is a thorn in the Bucs side. Sean McVay, Sean Payton, Sean Burston. Too many Seans, man. That's Antonio's agent right there. So I don't know if it's a matter of respect or whatever, but when these slimy ass lawyers get in front of the camera and just lie, like stone-faced lie to the camera, they know damn well what they're saying is completely untrue. But they're like, yeah, I'm getting paid and I'm doing this thing. I mean, come on, whatever. But that's interesting. What happens now in New Orleans? Does Jameis come back to New Orleans? Where does Jameis land? Is Brady coming back? Where's Rodgers going? Where's Russell Wilson going? This is going to be the epic offseason of off seasons. And by the way, so where is Sean Payton going? Well, he's under contract. So anybody that wants him as a coach, Jerry Jones, is going to have to give up a boatload of draft picks to get him. Well, yesterday he did say, I'm definitely not coaching this year, but you can believe that if you want to believe it. I'm sure if Jerry Jones pulled the trigger right away on Mike McCarthy, Sean Payton's going to revisit that statement. He has to. And if not, I think that Mike McCarthy probably will get his one more year, and no matter what happens, he's probably gone. I think what the wave of the NFL is go all in. Right. And this is going to be kind of a recurring thing, because teams understand now that in order to get over the top, you got to go all in and sacrifice for future years. And that means draft picks. So if you're the Dallas Cowboys and you're sitting with all this talent on your team, right? And what you're clearly lacking is, I think, a coaching staff that's competent. And Sean Payton brings that to you right away. So what's that worth? The Bucs gave up 2 1s and 2 2s and $8 million cash to get John Gruden. It was a ridiculous price at the time, but it worked. It got you a Super Bowl, but it crippled the Bucs for the next 10 years. And that's no joke. I mean, it also certainly helps when you're drafting high and you whiff so many times. And they had 2 chances to draft Aaron Rodgers and did not. John Gruden, quarterback guru. So what do you, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, do you go all in? I think you do. I think you got to go. I don't know if you're giving up 2 1s and 2 2s for Sean Payton, but if that's the cost, do you do it? At this point, maybe you have to. I mean, look at the Rams. They've mortgaged their entire future. They have no draft picks till like 2030. But look at the situation they're in right now. I think as you look at the Final Four, they're as good as anybody. They're as good as anybody and playing as good as anybody right now. So this is going to be the wave of the future. You've got to mortgage your future in order to win a Super Bowl because that's what the other teams are going to do. And the Bucs did it last year, and they're going to hopefully make another run at it this next season. We shall see. But I guess Sean Payton is now going to be in this sweepstakes of announcers. By the way, have you ever watched the game because of an announcer? Do you even care who's announcing the games? Does it matter to you?
It can take away from the game and add at some points.
It can take away.
It can take away. There are some people that are just nails on a chalkboard for me.
Yep.
That exists. And I feel like there are certain voices that I need for big games.
Mm-hmm.
Like certain guys, to me, the best analogy I can use, they feel like Pac-12 After Dark announcers.
Yeah.
And some feel like Monday Night Football announcers or whatever.
Well, yeah, when Al Michaels hits the screen on that medium shot, before they pan over to Chris Collinsworth or whoever's sitting next to him, in that iconic setup, it just means something.
Yeah,
it does. It does. It just means something. Now, if it's Joe Buck, I mean, if suddenly, I don't know, JP Peterson showed up.
See, but
it's not going to be as big a game. It just takes away.
And Joe Buck, for whatever reason, I don't get it. He's the most polarizing announcer out there.
Not a big fan.
You're not a big fan?
No.
I don't see what the problem is with Joe Buck.
I don't have a problem with him. I will say this: he's always got to get his digs in.
Yeah,
he's always got to get his little digs in.
But
TBH, I like him most of the time. I'm like, ooh, that was a nice little singer, So, but
I'm conditioned to feel when Joe Buck's there, it's a big game.
Yes, of course. But is there not just a little bit of pretty boy factor that grates on you?
About Joe Buck?
Yeah. Anyone else out there? It's like, when he's going to his on camera, he's got his hair dyed and it's I don't know. Is it just me? It just kind of likes to look at himself in the camera, I don't know. Is it? I never get that feeling from Al Michaels or Mike Tirico or
Nance or anybody.
I never get that. But Buck, it just feels like, sometimes he and Aikman are just trying to outdress each other or what. I don't know. Am I the only? Okay, I'm the only one. I don't know. But it doesn't keep me from enjoying the game. It's not that big a deal. And the money that they're throwing at these guys is ridiculous. So now they're thinking ESPN's going after Al Michaels for Monday Night Football.
And I don't understand that one. There's been a revolving door at ESPN, right?
Yeah, Monday Night Football, yeah.
Al Michaels is 77 years old?
Is he 77?
I think so. He's pushing 80. I know that.
Yeah.
What?
I thought he was 71. Maybe.
I think he's a lot older than that.
Okay.
The point being, you're just looking at realistic. How much longer is he going to do this for? That's the way I look at it. From a business side,
he ain't lost his fastball. That's for sure.
He ain't lost his fastball at all. I'm not saying that. As a business move for ESPN, I don't know about it. I think you want to get some continuity in that. I know there's going to be this long broadcasting booth for a long time.
Yeah.
Like they got 10 years, 11 years out of John Gruden and for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew that he was going to be there. Unfortunately, he kind of changed, play-by-play guys forever.
Yeah, because nobody could work with him, or he got kicked them out.
Yeah, I mean, in the way it's going, the Manning cast, however long the Manning cast goes, it seems more people are interested in that anyway.
Yeah, I have found kind of that it takes away from the game.
The Manning cast?
Yeah.
See, I agree.
Yeah,
But clearly the ratings don't
back,
indicate it.
Yeah, I flip back and forth.
Yeah.
The ratings are...
The ratings kept rising for Manning cast as the season went on. Not for me. I want to watch the game, and I'm old school. I want to hear the announcing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love the Levy, Reddick, and Greasy booth. I don't have any...
That's what I'm saying. I'd
people
rather
have issues with it. I don't have any issues with it. I think they do a fantastic job.
I'd rather just let that one ride out forever, for a long time here.
I mean, they're not superstars, but I think they do a hell of a really solid job.
But on the other end, if he goes to Amazon, I don't feel great about having to pay extra to hear Al Michaels have to commentate the game.
Well, do you have Amazon Prime? Everybody has Amazon Prime.
I don't have Amazon Prime.
Everybody's got Amazon Prime.
I don't.
Free shipping? No, you don't have.
I don't buy anything from Amazon.
Like $13 a month.
Buy $13 a month?
Yeah, you get Amazon Prime, you get music, you get free shipping.
No.
I hate Bezos so much. I kind of want to get off the teat of Amazon, but and I might just. But if they, I just, I'm not. Am I going to tune into Amazon because Al Michaels is doing a game? No. I'm going to tune in because it's the game. That's the reason. I just don't understand why they pay him so much money. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Bruce Gradkowski is going to join us, and we're going to talk about Bucs loss, what happened in that game, and we'll look ahead to the conference championship games this weekend. It's all things quarterbacks with the great Bruce Gradkowski. When we come back, stay with us.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to Palermo.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. We'll close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can find him at palermopa.com. If you have any issues with your homeowner's insurance, stucco damage, defective stucco work, a lot of that going on in the Bay Area. If you've just had construction done, commercial or residential, and they're cornered here, these construction folks, because of the supply chain, they got to get things done. I get it, but it can leave you in a very, very bad predicament. So if you think you have issues with construction, call Christopher Palermo. Get in touch with him. He's got the experts that can check it out and figure it out. And if you have a claim, he will fight for you. So go to palermopa.com and give him a shot. Tell him you heard it on the JP Peterson Show. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Bruce Gradkowski, former Buccaneers quarterback. He is the lead analyst for Pro Football Focus, breaking down every pass play there is. What's up, my friend? How are you? What a weekend of football that was, huh?
Oh, man, that was unbelievable. I mean, and how about this? Saturday night I had a daddy-daughter dance. I'm sitting there holding my phone as the Bengals take the field for a last-second, field goal to win it. But then I got to tune in for the late-night game on Saturday, the Niners, and then, of course, Sunday, just great football. So it was a fun weekend. I mean, at the end of the day, I just love seeing games come down to the wire.
Right,
I mean, that Tampa game was so disappointing early on.
Yeah.
And basically the Rams just tried handing it back. And but I'm so glad it got, it came down to the wire like it did.
Man, the stadium was on fire, man. I've never heard it that loud. It's disappointing that the Bucs lost, but man, that's a game that's going to go down in history. And there's so many things about that game that I have to talk to you about. So let's get right into it. And first and foremost, I clearly believe that the Bucs got out coached in this game. Sean McVay has Bruce Arians' coaching staff number. And first and foremost, why the Bucs not come out in huddle and go up tempo to slow down that pass rush? That just was mind-boggling to me. Then they went to it one time, had some success with it, and never really went back to it. Why? What did you think of the offensive game plan by the Bucs?
It's just tough, man, because I just think it's more about what the Rams did. The Rams, the sacks Brady took, they're playing man-to-man, and they're getting after Brady with a four-man rush. And could Brady at times have been a little maybe better, quicker decision-making, but those guys were after him pretty quick.
Yeah.
And it was tough because sometimes, you'd love to go no huddle. But once again, like that Rams offense, if you give the ball back pretty fast, you're just not putting your defense in an ultimate, an optimal position, which makes it tough.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that the pass rush was the difference in the game. There's no question about that. The Rams pass rush was relentless on Brady, and that's why, we've said this all year long. It's not rocket science. You get to him, how you Brady, and they were ever able to do that. But I mean, every move has a corresponding move you can do, and that's why I thought the no huddle would be, something to tire out that rush because they couldn't handle it. Is that not something that they could have gone to? I mean, I understand your point about the defense, but do something.
Well, and just looking at some stats, from the divisional round, the most hurries generated this weekend by a defense was the Bills, and second was the Rams. So the Bills had 29 hurries. The Rams had 22. And you talk about total pressures generated. The Rams had 28. You know, they were right behind the Bills. So Bills did a great job kind of getting some pressure as well. But, you know, the Rams did, you know, they were all over Brady. It makes it tough too, especially when, you know, you're clamping them up man to man, and you're able to get after the quarterback with a 4-man rush. It's just tough, man, because there's a lot of coverage out there as well.
Right.
And that's what, you know, it's kind of tough for the Bucs.
And you don't have your usual complement of guys who can beat that coverage in Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown. You got Tyler Johnson, who wasn't getting open. You know, Perriman went down again. So he just didn't have the weapons, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, and that's what I thought going into the game was, you know, the Rams secondary might have a better shot at this because of, you know, just the weapons outside for Tampa. So then all of a sudden you play some man-to-man. You trust your one-on-one battles in that sense, and then you're able to get after Brady. But look, I mean, that's kind of a reason they got back into the game when Brady hit Mike Evans for the touchdown.
Yep.
You know, you leaving that one-on-one match. Now there's opportunity to make a big explosive play with that touchdown pass.
Another thing Tony Dungy mentioned at halftime that I thought was interesting, and the Bucs used it to really, really good use last year, was going max protect. Is that something else that maybe the Bucs coaching staff kind of missed on?
Well, you know, it's tough because at times, like just even watching the Mike Evans, you know, touchdown pass, you know, they have the tight end in, you know, Gronk's going to chip and help out. The running back's going to chip and help out on the other side.
Yep.
And then they get out on the routes. And so you could do that. It just kind of, you know, takes your guys a little, you know, more time to get out on routes. You have less guys in the pattern. But I think first and foremost, you got to stop the rush initially and slow it down. And, you know, it's just tough when you play good defense and like they did. But, you know, it's a compliment to the Bucs and their just mental toughness all year, just fighting back in that game. You know, taking advantage of some opportunities. And then honestly, the Rams just made more plays than the Bucs did at the end of the game.
Yeah, and let's talk about the defensive call at the end of the game, where Bowles goes zero blitz and Cooper Kupp is one-on-one with Antonio Winfield. And one of the things I saw going back and looking at first of all, Matthew Stafford played a tremendous football game on so many levels. But I mean, how do you first of all, how do you go zero blitz there, and how do you match up the best receiver maybe in football in Cooper Kupp against a safety? I mean, the Rams had to be over the moon in that situation to get that matchup. That just can't happen.
Yeah, I mean, the Bucs are going to look back at this one, and there's two huge plays that really cost them the game. And it was 20 in the second quarter.
Yep.
14-28 left in the second quarter. And I mean, it's a 3rd and 20. And Stafford just kind of looks inside, gives a little shoulder look, pump, and the safety goes with it. And he just fires it outside to a wide open Cooper Kupp. I mean, that's a huge play on 3rd down and 20. I mean, you can't give up a touchdown like that. And then you're talking about, we're talking about at the end of the game, 28 seconds left, tied up. Stafford's on the 44-yard line, and Tampa comes after him. You know, and you know, in that situation, I mean, it is a really good job by Stafford. You know, smelling it out, having the patience to drip back in the pocket and know, man, if I buy time, I got Kupp wide open down the middle of the field. And as a quarterback, you are licking your chops in this situation.
Yeah.
Because Stafford could have very easily have taken like a quicker throw to the tight end just because blitz is coming, I should get rid of it. But man, he dropped back and he slung it.
What a throw.
It was a beautiful thing for the Rams, but on the other side, you know, you're just taking a chance. I mean, Tampa looked out of sorts lining up for that snap.
Yep.
And it's just unfortunate that happened because it was a cover zero blitz that really didn't benefit them because their guys weren't aligned and weren't really bringing it like they should.
Well, they got pressure. I mean, Sue, they busted the protection. Sue came right up the middle, scot-free. But where the breakdown was in your coverage assignments. And I think Todd Bowles thinks that Cooper Kupp is Scotty Miller. He's not. I mean, they didn't do anything special all game long to account for him. And this is the third, fourth time that he's toasted the Buccaneers. I mean, Todd Bowles is a brilliant defensive coach. He knows a hell of a lot more than I do. But it just seems it seems odd that he just treats Cooper Kupp like he's some regular guy. You know, I mean, we joke about his paint job, and maybe that's the reason why. But I think at this point we all know that he's a pretty damn good receiver. How do you turn him loose on that 70-yarder, and how do you put Winfield on him in that situation? How's there not a corner on him?
Yeah, I know it's tough because where Kupp's aligned when he's inside in the slot, and you're bringing a cover zero blitz, that just kind of leaves a safety on him,
right?
And they just weren't aligned, properly, and then when they are blitzing though, blitz, the worst thing you could do is hesitate in blitz, because now you're giving the quarterback that much more time, and it's just unfortunate. And look, every game, you look at some of even the Rams. I mean, the Rams are looking back. They're lucky they pulled that game out.
I know.
Or they're thinking, man, what about the fumble? What about the bad snap? What about all these plays they gave up to let Tampa back in the ball game? So it's just really tough as a player and as a coach, because you're always going to have those plays no matter what, no matter if you win or lose. And it's just unfortunate when you lose, there's a magnifying glass on it, like we're talking about. So the job Bowles has done all year, and just the coach he is, he's just a phenomenal coach. It's just unfortunate, because at the end of the day, it's about players making plays.
Yep.
And the Rams made the plays at the end when they needed to.
Bruce Gradkowski joining us for PFF. What did you think of Aaron Rodgers' performance in that playoff game? They scored on the opening drive and then 3 points the rest of the way. And the Niners defense is good, but this is just another example of Rodgers not being able to meet the moment in the postseason. What did you see?
Yeah, I mean, he took 5 sacks. It just they couldn't get much going. But I do give a lot of credit to the Niners. I think the Niners did a really good job defensively. And that was my, question coming into the game. You got to make Rodgers and Brady and those guys feel uncomfortable in the pocket.
Yep.
You can't let them just have their good old time. But we can say that, but to actually make it realistic and make it happen is hard to do. And but when you can get pressure with your 4 down, I mean, now that's a different ball game. And the Niners were able to do that at times. And it's going to be. It's going to be a lot of changes playing Green Bay.
Yep.
I'm curious even where you're at. What's our man Brady going to do? So
my gut feeling is he comes back for one more. It just doesn't seem like the timing is right for him to leave. He didn't act like a guy going off the field for the last time of his career. I think he's committed to 3 years. He committed to play till he's 45. I think that he plans everything in his life out to a T. I know he's feeling the pressure of his family. I get all that. But I think the family would enjoy watching him one more season. So I think he's coming back. I think I'm alone in that, but we'll see. I think a lot depends on what the Bucs are able to do to put the band back together. I know they want to do that, and they can. They can, for the most part, they can keep the core together, and they can add some things. I think there'll be a lot of people lining up. Hey, before you go, I want to get your take on what you saw between Mahomes and Allen. I mean, what? I mean, is that the greatest quarterbacking game of all time?
It's insane. It really is insane. I mean, that game was so good because when you thought it was over, it wasn't. It was just, man, it was unbelievable. And, the thing that's crazy, though, is I picked all road teams to win last weekend.
Yeah.
And after Allen scored, which I was kind of like, oh, man, is Allen going to be able to come back down and score? He throws a touchdown pass with 13 seconds left. And I'm thinking to myself,
ball game.
I wrote up a tweet. I'm about to tweet this thing out that the Gradkowski's crystal ball on Sirius XM NFL radio is undefeated, was 4-0 in the divisional round. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just hold off for a second. I'll tell you what, like, I did not think 13 seconds, at the end of the day, and I just was saying it's about players making plays.
Yeah.
And Mahomes and Kelsey having the wherewithal to understand the situation, the feel of the game, and just be able to navigate a defense to just make a play. It's backyard football. We got to make a play. They did it. They get in field goal range to tie it up.
That Bills defense, though. Come on, bro. You give Kelsey a free release in his huge open field in front of him. Shit, I could have made that throw. Come on. What the hell were they doing? It was Kelsey's lined up. There's nobody over him. This huge space right behind him. Before the snap of the ball, I'm like, what the F are they doing?
Yeah. I know.
Wow.
It's insane, but it was, man, what a fun game to watch for sure.
All right, quick picks for this week. Who you got?
Oh man, I just think the Chiefs are too good. It's hard for me to think that happens again. Going back and forth. I love what Burrow and the Bengals have done.
Yeah, their offensive line is
but
awful.
I just think Kansas City and their house is just different.
Yeah.
So I'm going that way with Kansas City. And then the Rams-Niners. Man, Kyle Shanahan has got McVay's number.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
And I'm not just talking about his telephone number. The guy knows how to beat him. But I think the Rams get this one.
The Rams are playing so good. Yeah, I agree. All right, partner.
But that's the thing. The Niners, if they could get after Stafford with the 4 down again, could give Stafford a long day. So it's going to be up to the QBs. Which one plays better, Jimmy G or Stafford?
I'll take Stafford the way he played this week. He was unbelievable. Hey, man, thanks again. We'll have before the Super Bowl, and we'll get a couple more in. It's great quarterbacking time, and you're not going to bet. 3 out of 4 ain't bad, bro. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. All right, appreciate you.
Yeah,
Bruce. We'll talk next week. It should have been 4 out of 4. We all know that. All right, the great Bruce Gradkowski. Appreciate it.
My man.
All right, we will take a quick break, and just want to remind you that if you're in the market for a refinance, Scott Fitzgerald is your man, American Mortgage Services. Rates are going up, folks, fast. Get locked in right now. You can call him and get locked in today. Scott at amstampa.com. Doesn't cost you $1 to do that. Just start exploring. He's going to pay for your appraisal if you mention the JP show, so that helps you out as well. Much less upfront fees, and he does the best of the business of keeping those low and get you the best rate. It's personal to him. Scott at amstampa.com. Give him an email and get your rate locked in. All right, quick break. We'll come back and update on the Tampa Bay Lightning as well. Stay with us. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young, Big and Rich, and other amenities, including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now, so go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. Will close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com. Who wants free mobile service? I do. And you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity. Time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company, was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, Scott at amstampa.com, Scott at amstampa.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back. The JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can reach him at palermopa.com if you have any issues with construction, or if you have some cracks on the side of your house, that stucco damage, that could be hiding some water damage inside as well, and that could lead to some very, very bad stuff inside your home, black mold, et cetera, et cetera. So make sure that everything is cool. Get in touch with Christopher Palermo. He will walk you through the whole process and make sure that you are compensated if you have damage to your home. That's what you pay homeowners insurance for, so don't let it fester. Go to palermopa.com and get in contact with Christopher Palermo. All right. The Lightning will be back at it tomorrow after a little bit of a break as the New Jersey Devils come to town. And then we got the Golden Knights on Saturday nights, the night of Gasparilla. Just going to put quite a damper on my festivities during the day, but that's okay. Still going to be a fun day for Gasparilla. Going to be chilly. Going to be in the 40s and 50s for Gasparilla.
I know. I saw a lot of people bitching yesterday on Twitter that were coming out of town for the Gasparilla. It's going to be freezing.
It's not freezing.
It's going to be freezing.
When it's sunny and it's 50, it's not even cold, really.
All right, I won't go that far.
Especially when you got antifreeze running around in your body. That seems kind of weak to me.
By the way, I've never been to the Gasparilla.
You've never
As a
done
Tampa
Gasparilla?
native, I've never been.
Like you've never just come down and never?
No, never.
Never had a desire.
Never had a desire.
Fun. It's fun. It's parade. It's party. It's all that. It could be if you don't have a plan, it could be a pain in the ass. I get it.
I'm not into the whole dress up routine. That's number one.
I'm not a big dress up guy either.
Dress up guy.
I'm not a big dress up guy.
Not a dress up guy,
but I'll throw a few beads on, and the Lightning Gasparilla t-shirt maybe.
It's never really called my name.
I was thinking going all the way and getting the makeup and doing the pirate thing for Lightning Vision Saturday night.
You should. I'm sure they probably have already something planned for you anyway, like Halloween.
Well, we'll have a lot of ridiculous puns.
Yeah.
And I'll get to use my pirate voice, matey, yes. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. I'll have to check with the boss, John Franzone, because I'm going to go over to Palmacia in the morning. They have the makeup arts, so I could get the whole makeup thing done.
I'll get up on
there. Yeah, I could do that. So, what do you think? Maybe I should. Maybe I should go full pirate. Maybe I should do the entire Lightning Vision thing in my pirate voice. What do you think? Hey, matey.
Please spare everybody.
That's a no. It's a no from you. I can see that already.
Please spare everybody in the arena, please.
Oh, the Devils are in town. I know the Devil on a first name basis because I'm a pirate. No? Okay. I thought it was kind of entertaining. All right. The bad news is Nikita Kucherov is not going to play. He is in COVID protocol, which kind of sucks. hopefully this will be the last major COVID protocol issue that the Lightning have in the NHL, because they're going to stop testing asymptomatic people here like soon, right?
I think they're testing. Yeah, everybody's
thought
done
they stopped
big
doing
testing.
that. Yeah.
This is the last week. So he's one of the last cases, I believe, around the league before they stop this.
Okay. I mean, there's so much information out there on COVID right now that is just like, this is the end of the Omicron wave will hopefully be the end of this, and herd immunity is coming soon. There's also a lot of information out there right now about the vaccine situation in Israel and some of these other highly vaccinated places that are having tremendous issues. Their hospitals are filling up, and I know there's narratives out there that this is the pandemic of the unvaccinated. Well, look what's going on in Israel. They're the highest vaccinated population, double vaccinated, triple boosted, all times, and now they're having this reverse efficacy problem. And these are stats, folks. It's happening in Scotland as well. It's a disaster, and I don't know what's coming here, but I was reading a lot about this from some very credible people and very credible doctors, and it could be a very, very big issue coming up. But let's stick to hockey. Let's stick to Lightning. Let's hear from John Cooper, who met the media yesterday, give a little update on what's going on with this team. They've been off for a little bit, and after coming off that huge win over the Sharks 7-1, here's John Cooper.
Trying to skate with you guys in a bit. Is there any update there? Has there been a setback, I guess, in what he had, or?
Yeah, he and Trini and Bogo are still, well, they're both injured, so it's not exactly sure when these guys are going to come back. Our games, we've got these 3 at home, and then there's a little bit of a break, and those 3 makeup games. So there is a little bit of time, but we're not going to see any of them for sure these next 3 home games. I don't think.
So that's no Chernak, no Bogosian.
And Encina.
John, you've kind of gone through a time there where COVID had kind of really affected the room. When a guy gets it again after 2 weeks of not having anyone in protocol, do you worry again that think something could happen there?
No, I'm not worried. I'm not sure what the numbers are of how many players have had it or not. It's just become kind of the norm, sadly. And so guys get it. You're out probably 5 days, and then you come back. And so it's unfortunate. If somebody's going to pick it up, you kind of hope they get it during our little bit of the break. But we've gone through this. All the other teams have gone through it. Hopefully it's not something that starts taking guys down again. But you just gotta.
Can you tell he's fed up with it
and know that this
is
had enough of probably not over yet?
Yeah.
Eric Erlinson.
Hi, John. Does the gap coming up, does it play into those guys missing some extra time just to get them additional rest? Like, if it was playoffs, could they play, or is this a situation where they just have to have the additional time?
I think anytime it's playoffs, it probably shortens the time of anybody's recovery.
Hockey players. But
no, just wounds got to heal, and I do think the break could play a little bit into it, but again, we'll have to see. I mean, guys don't want to miss. We don't want guys to miss. But with these 3 games coming up, then we'll start reevaluating after that.
All right, last one, Joe Smith.
I know this might seem like a general question, but what is the key as a coach in getting a player to buy in to a certain role? I'm sure part of that's identifying the right players to pick when you're in free agency or whatever else like that. But what kind of things are helpful when you're trying to get guys to buy into, whether it's an ice time thing or a role thing?
I don't know. That is a really general question. I mean, I don't know how to really answer that other than the big thing would be communication. I think when you're open with a player, they understand where you're coming from and explain to them, your thoughts, where they fit, what the role is, how they'll be rewarded. But it all, to me, comes down to communication and when it comes into buying roles or buying in on roles and ice time and stuff like that, I told you before, the player pretty much determines that. And they'll let you know what their play and their effort, how much time is, they're going to get. So, but we never really had a problem with that over here. I think with what culture we've set here and the standards we have, the veterans we have in our room, it kind of sets up that guys have no choice but to buy in because of the precedent that's been set before them. But the big thing is, for me, is communication.
I think that's one of the great things that the Lightning have done in integrating free agents, over the past couple of years with obviously with Coleman and Goudreau and some of the other guys, and then Belmar, who's fit in like a glove here so well. They've just done a really, really good job of that. I don't know if it's obviously the scouting is tremendous, but also, they do a lot of work on the character of these guys and, how they will fit into the locker room and the culture here. And I think it means a lot to them. I mean, they pick the right guys.
A little thing I picked up in the San Jose game, and I don't think I noticed it all year. Corey Perry's only been here for 40 games. And I know he's a veteran and this might make sense, obviously, but you don't see this often. He's already wearing the A. He's already one of the guys wearing the A after 40 games of the Lightning.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, that just shows you the impact he's had in the locker room. They don't just give those things away.
No.
It's a very serious thing. It took Hedman years to get that thing. And Corey Perry, 40 games in's already got it. He's fit like a glove. I feel like he's playing almost a little bit like he did years ago with that top line. He's been up on that top line a little bit, rotating in with Belmar and Maroon. He's been a perfect fit.
Yeah, I mean, the Lightning have done a tremendous job of getting these guys. And, obviously the culture that they've already created attracts a lot of these players and the organization attracts a lot of these players. So you're getting to pick from the best of the best. But Julien Brisebois has gone out and, he was criticized for giving up number ones for some of those guys. And, worked out pretty well. But once you get them in, you got to get them in the right roles. You got to get them integrated into the culture and all those things. So it a big part of that is picking the right guys, but a big part of it is also the culture that surrounds them. So the Lightning have done it better than anybody else, clearly. All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll reset some of the AB stuff that we started at the top. If you missed that, I got some reaction from some folks on that. We'll also have at 11:15, Jason Romano is going to join us, former number one, former first-round pick in baseball and local guy here. Is an agent, and we'll talk to him about the Rays situation and the Hall of Fame, as some big names did not get in. We'll talk about that when we come back. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. Well, it's never been more important to support each other and support local businesses like Italiano Insurance that has been around for over 60 years, serving our community with great customer service and also giving back to our locals in need. Their Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Food Drive was another tremendous success this year. Why call a 1-800 number when you can call your trusted neighbors at Italiano Insurance who will save you money? In Boca Grande, 941-964-0400. That's 941-964-0400.
Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in? but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you, and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity, time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company, was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got in the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, Scott at amstampa.com, Scott at amstampa.com.
Who wants free mobile service? I do. And you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. And the second hour is brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Christopher Lugo and his team will get you right. It's a different approach to primary care, personalized, and not a one-size-fits-all strategy. And they don't just write a script and say, go away, get better. It's about a lifestyle. The folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That's BAMMC.com. Check them out for more information. All right, we got Jason Romano coming up in just a little bit. Quick segment here. We talked a little bit about the AB situation. He's doing an interview that will be on HBO Real Sports tonight at 10 o'clock. They've already done the interview. They put some snippets out. It's the same old BS that he was talking about, except now he's trying to show himself as a victim. The Bucs gave him Toradol, forced him to take Toradol before games, which is complete bull crap. And Bryant Gumbel knows it, and Antonio Brown knows it. What they're trying to do here is just, I don't know what they're trying to do. It seems like a very divisive story to me. And you have to consider the credibility of the source when you're a journalist. How many Jesse Smollett mistakes do we have to make here? And they're still giving this ridiculous story about him and Bruce on the sideline, it being about an ankle injury, credibility. There's no credibility to the story. None. Everybody saw that the guy wasn't injured, and he pranced off the field. And he actually told the hooker that he called into the team hotel the night before that he was going to do it. It was all premeditated. There was a dust up in the locker room about him yelling and screaming about getting targets. Come on. This is all out there. And I wish the players would come out and support their coach a little bit more vociferously, but evidently that's not going to happen. Maybe it'll happen now. I don't know. The Hall of Fame situation we're going to talk about with Jason Romano coming up. Of course, yesterday, Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Roger Clemens, their 10th time. They got close. 66% for Bonds, 65.2% for Clemens. But now it goes to the Veterans Committee, I guess, to allow them in. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but we'll kind of chop that up with Jason here in a little bit. Gronk has told TMZ yesterday if he decide about coming back right now would be a no, because right after the season your body hurts, blah 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 blah. But he said that's why I'm not going to make my decision now. There's really no hurry with me, so it'll be a couple of months. Let's just be honest. Whatever Tom decides, I think Gronk follows. Gronk has a great opportunity to make money and do other things. As soon as he retires, he's going into WWE or AES or whatever the hell the other what? Don't look at me that way. I'm not a wrestling guy. You got to be making movies, so I don't know. It all depends on Tom if they're gonna put the band back together one more time. I still think they're gonna do it, but we shall see.
I'm so offended you just said AES.
What is it?
AEW.
AEW.
What would the S stand for?
I don't know. A lot of acronyms out there. I just cannot swallow. I was watching a lot of the shows yesterday, and I think they're all buying into the Brady's quitting.
Well, I did hear Gronk. I got to figure out where these comments came from, but I just saw stories that he said if he was forced to make the decision today,
that's what I just said.
He'd retire.
Yeah, he would retire. But he's not. He's not forced to make the decision today.
No.
And they will all take some time and let this whole thing play out, and they'll start get juiced up for another run. I think so. I just think it's that once it's so final, and the finality of the playoffs is such a bitch, like Arians said.
Mm-hmm.
So I think once that wears off, Tommy's going to get the juices again. And as I've said, he signed up for 3 years. The Bucs plan has been for 3 years. Arians says he's coming back next year. He's going to call the plays. They're going to be able to put the band back together. It doesn't feel right. I understand the pull of his family and all that stuff. And but I think when it comes down to it, don't you think that Giselle and even the kids would want just one more swan song, one more final go round? I would think they would.
I feel like the whole team has to feel like they need one more, man.
Yeah.
I do feel like they got robbed in a sense this year.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming the entire loss on the injuries. They didn't play well.
Right.
But just not having Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs in a game you really, really need them to. Those are guys that are difference makers in the game.
Yeah.
We could say that any day of the week. They are difference makers. And I think they would love to run it back with everybody at full strength.
I think they would. I just think there feels like some unfinished business. And I think they also know it's going to be hard to win another Super Bowl, but I also think they know that they can get better. They can build up their depth. And I think, this whole AB situation, I think we're going to find out was a little bit more disruptive than we knew at the time.
Yeah, and we'll see what additions they add. I mean, there's other things they can do.
Yeah, there's a lot of things
I've seen things floating around about Cordero Patterson a lot. Scott Reynolds suggested that.
Yeah.
I saw that floating out today.
Imagine that guy in the slot.
Imagine that guy.
Monster.
There's talks about, I think John Ledger floated the idea today of Juju Smith-Schuster coming in as well, and he could be your guy until Godwin gets healthy, and then you have another trio. There's lots of things they can do, get creative. I mean, if John Spytek doesn't get hired for a general manager job, he's still back here to help out as well.
And I think he probably will.
Yeah.
But there's some depth, and Shelton Quarles, and they've got a lot of depth. Alex Smith, they got a great front office.
They're in great hands.
Yeah,
they're in great hands.
Jason Light doing a great job. And this staff is going to be disruptive. I think Byron Leftwich is going to get the Jacksonville job. That seems to be the odds-on favorite.
And I will say one last point before we go to break. For the Bucs fans out there yesterday that are running their mouths about Sean Payton, you disgust me.
To come here and coach?
Not to come here and coach, but are going to say, oh, enjoy your rebuild, New Orleans. Enjoy your rebuild. And they're acting like they started I saw somebody say, remember all these bad quarterbacks that they used to have?
Yeah.
Good luck with that. As a real Bucs fan, please sit this one out, because you can pull up all the history of the Bucs all you want.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I
understand everybody's got their trash talk in there, but please.
Saints fans are assholes, though. This is our time to jump on them, so I can't fault Bucs fans for that. I can't.
Don't ignore the Bucs' bad history.
I know, but listen. When bad things happen, and don't forget, that's the same team that came in here with and I'll never apologize for this opinion, that came in here to hurt the Buccaneers, deliberately take out players. In that game, and they got Chris Godwin. They got him, and you could say that was a huge reason we did not win the Super Bowl. If Chris Godwin plays in that game against the Rams, I think it's a different game. I'm not saying the Bucs would definitely win, but I think it's a bit of a different game. And if Brady has some other options to go to, that way you could keep more max protect in and have him get open. Of course. He played in the first game and we didn't beat the Saints. I get it, but you have a better shot. You got a better shot against the Rams if you have Chris Godwin. So I have no sympathy for him. All right, quick break. When we come back, Jason Romano will join us, former major leaguer, first round pick, now a agent, and a damn good one. But he has some thoughts on the steroid era. He played with A-Rod. He played with a lot of these guys. So stay with us. We'll get his take next.
Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity, time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company who was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, Scott at amstampa.com, Scott at amstampa.com.
Who wants free mobile service? I do. And you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for
Rich, and other amenities, including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Also by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, our second hour. You can find that at BAMMC.com. All right, we want to welcome in our good friend Jason Romano, baseball agent at XL Sports, one of these super agents in the business, former first-round pick out of Hillsborough High, played for the Rays, played for the Rangers, played with A-Rod. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Hey, what's up, JP? How you doing, man?
When it's Baseball Hall of Fame talk, I always love to have you on because I love your take on the steroid era. You played the game. You have a very credible voice. You're still very much involved in the game as an agent with some of the biggest players' games. So my co-host here, Nick Geddes, is all for, putting Bonds and Clemens and all these steroid abusers into the Hall of Fame. I'm with you. I'm against it. If you're still against it, we'll find out.
Yep.
What is your take on steroids and these guys getting in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it's a tough one for me because, like you said, I played during that era. So I'm speaking personal experience and being a guy that played the game, with integrity, like the rules say, and, hard work and, try to do everything the right way. And to have guys that were knowingly taking them, physically, you can see the way their bodies change, during that era.
Mm-hmm.
That just, it hurts. And it hurts because, we all work hard and we all try to do something to get to the top of anything, whether it's your normal job, working at a restaurant or playing Major League Baseball. You're trying to do a good job and you're trying to do it against fair competition to have a shot to get to the top. And during that era, we didn't have a shot because the pitchers were doing it too. The hitters were doing it. So guys who tried to play the game the way it's supposed to be played and written in the rules were the ones that got kind of kicked out of the game. And, there's a lot of benefits and there's a lot of negatives to doing it. And at that time, obviously we knew the benefits of it, which would help your performance, but also help you with recovery.
Yep.
And, my career ended short at 28 years old because I had two injuries that kind of just, it happened to the leg. And who knows, I'd have been taking something if I wouldn't have pulled those muscles or some of the injuries that would have happened, or I could have recovered quicker and made a team again. So, that's the hard pill to swallow for a guy like me who, sees these guys getting rewarded for, having cheated throughout the era.
And Jason, I think it's very instructive for people to kind of, get into that moment kind of in your head. Is like you had a decision and you had done it, right? You knew what the benefits were. And how much does that take you from, 25, 40 doubles to, 15, 20, 30 more home runs, which gets you paid and everything else, but has a long-term damage on your body, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was faced with a tough decision. I was 23, 24 years old, in those early 2000s. I knew everybody was doing it. You didn't see it per se in the locker room, but you definitely could see people's bodies changing and people talking about it. And, I was in the clubhouse with the Rangers in 2002 with A-Rod, with Palmeiro, with Juan Gonzalez, with Pudge Rodriguez, with Ken Caminetti, with John Rocker. Every one of those guys were linked to it in some way or another.
Right.
And so here I am, this 22-year-old kid trying to, get playing time on a team like that. Frank Calinado was, Randy Velarde. Those were all guys who were called out and linked throughout the reports. So basically our whole team was on it, but
but did you
feel, maybe I was the dumb one.
What did you feel pressure?
No,
to
but
do it?
you know what? I don't know where I got this. The wise, maybe it's from my parents the way they raised me, but I knew it was a drug. I knew it was illegal, and whether the baseball was tested or not, it was an illegal drug to do. And growing up, I just never got into drinking or drugs, and throughout my career, so I just didn't do it. And I thought, forward ahead, like, what if this allowed me not to have kids in the future? Like, I don't want to.
Right.
Baseball is important, but not that important. So I just decided personally not to do it. And like I said, my career was cut short. I didn't make $100 million like a lot of these other guys did. And it is what it is. But you know what? One thing I can do is look in the mirror.
That's right.
And also tell my 10-year-old son, who knows about the steroid era now because he listens to a lot of sports talk, is tell him that I didn't do it. And honestly, not lie to the guy. Like Bonds and Clemens and all these kids, they can say whatever they want, but their kids know deep down that their dad cheated and their dad's a liar.
Jason Romano joining us here. I mean, that's a big deal. That's a big deal for you. And look how it's turned out. You got a beautiful family. You're making tons of money for a lot longer than they will make tons of money because you're involved as a baseball agent. So yeah, I think your decision worked out pretty well, partner. I think, I applaud you for it. And I think it's instructive for other people to hear this because I think, when you say everybody was doing it, what do you think the percentage was in the early aughts? 30%,
I mean,
40, 50%?
I would say from 97 to probably 04 when they kind of dropped the hammer a little bit.
Yeah.
I would say it was probably upwards of 40 to 60%. Let's just call it 60, maybe on the high side, but you just never know because there was a lot of pitchers doing it, and those two guys kind of go by the wayside. I remember being on a team, and there was 5 or 6 or 7 of the relievers. There's only 12 relievers on your team, and 5 or 6 or 7 of them were on it. So that's when guys started throwing 97, 98. Nowadays they throw it now without steroids, but you start to see the arms go, and the game kind of exploded from there. But my take is it's a hard one. Like David Ortiz gets in last night, whether he tested positive, negative, with a fake test, with a real, undisclosed test, whatever.
Right.
Bottom line is he was somewhat linked to it. And you know what? That's a hard thing because, A-Rod tested positive and paid a price for it. He should never get in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
Barry Bonds used the cream and said he didn't know he was using the cream. I'm like, come on, dude. Come on, dude. You like Gary Sheffield, he's my boy too. And I don't know if he did it or not, but I think he was linked to that Balco with Bonds. But my point is, there's also guys in the Hall of Fame right now that are pretty much 100% people knew they were on it too. You know, and that's the hard thing for a guy like me. Like, all right, well, I don't want these guys in because I know they cheated, but you've already let 3 or 4 or 5 guys that we know played against them, and they're already in.
And I always say this about your boy Crime Dog too. I think we all can say that with pretty good accuracy that his body never changed. He was always consistent. There was never any signs of him doing steroids, and he almost 500 home runs. I mean, if he takes roids, he's getting 650. I mean, come on, easy. Probably plays a couple more years, and I think if you're going to keep these other guys out, you got to put him in because he didn't do it. Right. To me, it's and I do have a problem with the writers because they do. Why does Ortiz get in and these other guys don't? Here's my other thing about this. These guys are all represented in the Hall of Fame. So many times people say, well, how can you have a Hall of Fame if there's no Pete Rose? Pete Rose bats in there. There's tons of Pete Rose memorabilia in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And recognizing his accomplishments as a player. He just doesn't have a plaque. And I'm okay with this. Right. I mean, Barry Bonds, all these guys are represented. If you ever go to Cooperstown, their stuff is all over the Hall of Fame. So the story is being told, but they're delineating between the guys that did it the right way and the guys that did it the wrong way. And I'm okay with that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, somebody made a good point the other day that, whoever's running the Hall of Fame, the committee or whatever, they should put on the ballot who they want in there, who they don't. If you don't want the guys in there because what they think, then they're not on the ballot. But if they are on the ballot, then you got to look at you can't look at all the other stuff off the field. Then you just look at their baseball performance and then vote if their baseball performance puts them in the Hall of Fame. Now there's two sides to that because obviously their baseball performance was juiced up.
Right.
But the Hall of Fame will make them in their sacred, hall, and they add them to the ballot, then the writers or whoever is voting just that's fair game.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. So one more thing on the Hall of Fame, and I think this is directly tied to Clemens and Bonds, and I think it's one of the reasons. Those guys bastardized the numbers. Numbers are so important in the game of baseball. That's how you judge guys, right? It's a numbers-generated league. And the way that Bonds, after the age of 38, if you like pre-steroids, the age of 38, 39, with the great hitters like Ted Williams and some of these others, that's when the power started to decline. In your natural body, the bat slows down, the power declines. And these guys, were putting up huge numbers, especially Bonds, after the age of 38. And that, he obliterates Aaron's record, Babe Ruth's record, the single season record, Roger Maris. He obliterates all these sacred records, and he did it because he was on steroids. And I think that's, and Clemens, his longevity, the Cy Youngs after the age of when he declined and then suddenly came back. Remember that? It's like those numbers shouldn't count at all. And the fact that they chose to do it is really disrespectful to baseball. And I think that's one of the big reasons these writers won't let him in. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I mean, it was blatant in everybody's face what was going on.
Right.
And to their defense, everybody around them was doing it too, but they just, like you're right, they broke these records that were important to the historians of the game, the current players of the game, the people at the time. Hank Aaron had to watch these cheaters go by him and get celebrated for it.
Right.
That is hard. And, quite honestly, we still do it. Like, Nelson Cruz has failed, I think, 2 performance-enhancing drug tests, and he's still looked at as one of the greatest guys in the game right now. And yeah, he does a lot of charitable stuff now, but the other day he cheated throughout the first part of his career. And so, but he's, it's almost, a lot of people forgive and forget on some players, and they don't on other players.
Right,
It's kind of strange how that goes. Big Papi, gets the pass. He's a great guy. He's on TV, and I'm sure that helped him the last few years being on Fox and all that.
Absolutely.
And so now you become a system of, all right, if you're a jerk or, during your playing career, you don't get to the Hall of Fame, but if you're a guy with personality, you can get in no matter what you do. Like, that's how it's been now. It's kind of, you can't do that. In my opinion, you either let them all in or it's too late now because a lot of them are in. But.
Right. Hey, quick take, being a local guy and, growing up here and playing baseball, your thoughts on the Rays split season plan being dumped. And did you ever have any real thought that
never
was,
had a chance?
Exactly. Explain to everybody why. Why?
Well, the Player Association would never agreed to that.
Exactly.
I don't care what the owners try to present, but it's a logistical nightmare for a family. Taxes, so much that goes into it, establishing a fan base, like getting a routine. Like, it's just not, it wasn't feasible. It's never going to work. I think it was a pie in the sky plan to kind of get people moving or scared or whatnot. But hopefully, my boy Ken Hagan, your boy, can come up with something here in Tampa and we can get all these people together and let's get it rolling. I mean, the stadium would have been built now. We just started 6 years ago.
Exactly. When they first proposed the e-board thing, if they'd have just paid for half. And Sternberg lied to me the other day when I asked him that question. I said, why don't you just commit to paying half? He said, I did that 3 years ago. It's complete bullshit. He did not. He put up $150 million. And when he was told he had to pay half, he took his ball and went away. It's complete BS. But it's got to be in Tampa, right? It's got to be a full season. Major League Baseball's not leaving this market, right?
No, it can. I mean, Tampa's got to do a better job of supporting it. But I think urban stadium and that fairgrounds area or Ybor, wherever, that whole area, just carve something out, 30,000 seats, and just make it real fan friendly and retractable. Let's do this.
It's not that hard. I mean, they're doing it everywhere else. It's really not that. We're making it way harder than it is. And what do you have any being on? As an agent, you're talking to the players, etc. Is there any movement, do you think, in the next couple of weeks? Do you think they're going to get this done? These two sides aren't dumb enough to strike during all the crap that's going on with this country right now.
I think they're going to posture here. We've had 2 big meetings this week early on. I think they're going to posture for another week or so. Probably by mid-February, I think they'll get close to an agreement. Pitchers and catchers may be delayed a week. But I think they come to agreement. I'm going to call February 24th.
I'm writing it down right now. Okay, if it happens on that day or around that, I'll honor that for sure. And lastly, do you think that there's going to be a minimum floor? Because I think Rays fans would love to see this. Are they going to make the owners come up with like a floor of $100 million for salary? I think it's a great idea. To keep these owners like Sternberg from stuffing their pockets with cash.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to pass right now.
Okay.
I think they're going to try to put in some stuff. They're talking about like, the revenue share plan and all that.
Yeah.
So I think cutting back a little bit on that, what teams have to spend their money on. But we'll see. It's going to shake out here in the next week or so. But I think we're on a good path to getting a deal done. Nobody wants to strike. There's too many arbitration cases that need to happen. There's 138 free agents out there. like we got to get baseball training back on the track, or
Yeah.
it's going to be a nightmare trying to do it during the season or spring training.
I agree. The great Jason Romano. Oh, by the way, Kyle Tucker, one of your clients, has a big fundraiser, right? Coming up next week. What can we do to put out some information on that?
Yeah, definitely. He's kicking off his own his foundation for hospice. His grandfather was touched and passed away right before the World Series, and Kyle was able to come home, and hospice did a great job taking care of him. So allowed him to extend that life there to
Nice.
see Kyle. So we're doing his first fundraiser February 13th, actually just the morning of the Super Bowl, 11 to 2 p.m. at Top. $600 for a team. Bring your family and friends out. It's a good time for a great cause. So anything that you can do, JP, to help spread that word, they can sign up at the KyleTuckerFoundation.org.
KyleTuckerFoundation.org. I'll retweet your tweet. I'm actually having lunch tomorrow at Palma Sia with Kyle. If you would like to join us, we're doing a little interview.
Good.
With Carl Walker, my buddy, set it up. So we're doing a little interview for his magazine and for our show. So if you want to join us, come on over at 1 o'clock tomorrow at Palma Sia. Come join us.
All right.
If you got
Sounds
time.
good. Thank you.
All right, my brother.
Okay.
Appreciate your time. The great
All right.
Jason Romano.
Okay. Bye.
Setting people straight on the Hall of Fame. What do you got to say to that, Nick Geddes? What do you got to say to that? The guy who played the game.
Listen, I understand his perspective. I'm appreciative of his perspective. I get it. It doesn't change my opinion one bit.
Really?
It doesn't change my opinion. I get that. I'm not changing my opinion on this. I am steadfast in this, that they should be in the Hall of Fame. It's club, JP. It's a club now.
It's an honor. You disrespected the game.
It's no different than a
Don't get
country
in.
club now. It's exclusive. Why is David Ortiz in the Hall of Fame?
I can't answer that question.
First ballot.
I can't answer the contradictory messages, but I can specifically speak to Clemens and Bonds, and they abused the record book. They abused the body. They abused the decision to keep doing steroids. They were already Hall of Famers, which makes it even worse in to disrespect the game like that. All to make more money and continue. You made your choice. You knew it was wrong. You made your choice when you did it. That you weren't going to be in the Hall of Fame, but you wanted to trade the money and the wins and the fame. You made that choice at that point. So live with it. Live with your choice. You collected the money, you collected the championships, you collected the Cy Youngs, you collected the records, you got all the accolades. Live with your choice. You're just not going to get a plaque in the Hall of Fame. That was the bargain you made. So shut up.
Did you enjoy watching Barry Bonds hit 72 home runs?
No, because I thought it was trash.
You thought it was trash?
Complete trash.
You got no joy watching it?
No, complete trash. Because A, he's an asshole, and B,
it is.
You're abusing Hank Aaron. I'm not going to recognize you as the home run king because Hank Aaron did it clean.
If Barry Bonds was a nice guy, would he be in the Hall of Fame right now?
Maybe, but he shouldn't be.
I'm pretty sure he would be.
It shouldn't be.
And why is that? Why is that criteria for the Hall of Fame?
It shouldn't be. It's not, and that's not why he's kept. That's not why I keep him out. I gave you the reasons why I keep him out. But you asked me if I was enjoying it. No, because I know I don't root for people like that.
He's the greatest player I've ever seen hit a baseball, and he should be in the Hall of Fame for it.
You made your choice. You made your choice. You want more money. You want more longevity. You want the records with asterisk in my mind. Then fine. Well, you traded it. When you made that choice, you traded it. Choices have consequences. At least they used to. And sorry.
Well, they clearly don't because David Ortiz is in the Hall of Fame.
David Ortiz wasn't extending his career doing roids. As far as I'm concerned.
He wasn't really a good player when he was in Minnesota.
So you think he did roids the entire time he was in Boston?
No, I'm just saying if you use steroids at some point, then you should get the same treatment. Why are Bonds and Clemens escaping?
No, I think if you try it early on in your career or a little, you get popped and then you decide to think better of it and you don't abuse the record book and all that other stuff, I think that's a different situation. All right, our good friend James Petralka is waiting to get on, and I've extended this too long. So quick break. James Petralka is going to join us. He worked the Bucs Rams game for national radio, so we'll get his perspective on that incredible game and more when we come back. Stay with us.
Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity. Time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company, was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free.
Stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Our second hour presented by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo and his team will get you right. It's a different approach to primary care, focused on your well-being. They're also very big into the anti-aging hormone replacement therapy. If you're on testosterone, be a great time to go with a different group that really takes your full health regimen into account. That's how they do it there at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Find out more at BAMMC.com. And he's like to say, old is inevitable, but looking and feeling old is a choice. So go to Bay Area Modern Medical Center and check out all the information, BAMMC.com. All right, our good friend James Petralco, usually working for Fox Sports, but this past weekend in the booth for, I guess, Westwood One Radio. What's up, James? How are you, my friend?
I'm good, JP. Excuse me. Yeah, it was Westwood One Radio with Dave Pash and Ross Tucker.
Oh, love Ross Tucker, and that was a good game for the old the ex lineman, because that game was won and lost in the trenches, as most games are.
Right.
What was your take on the overall game? It was a game, one of the most memorable I've ever seen.
I mean, it was it was incredible. The ending and the comeback, and it was amazing. I got to say, there were about 5 times when I thought, and we kind of talked about it, some on the air and some during breaks, where okay, this is over. The Rams are going to put the nail in the coffin, and it's done. And then they fumbled. Cooper Kupp fumbled, and the Akers fumbled, and so it just, they kept giving the Bucs chances to come back. And Ross at one point, he said, if it weren't Tom Brady, I would say this game is over.
Right.
He said, but with Tom Brady on the other side, you never know. But on the other hand, it was a great comeback by the Bucs and Brady. On the other hand, Brady was I would say a big reason why they were down 27-3.
Yes, absolutely.
He did not play well that first half, and in large parts of the game. A lot of it was, he was getting pressure. The offensive line, didn't play well. And it is a great defense. And you don't have all your weapons. But Brady, he was off on some throws. I mean, he missed Gronk a couple times where it's like they're looking at each other like they weren't on the same page, which is
very
a little
odd.
bit strange. But yeah.
I thought just in general, and you got to give the Rams a lot of credit, their coaching staff and their players. But I thought in general, it was one of the worst games the Bucs played all year in terms of mental mistakes. I mean, and that's what happens against good teams. You can make a lot of these mental mistakes against the Eagles. We went back and looked at the tape, and there's receivers running wide open that Jalen Hurts never saw. Matthew Stafford's not going to make that mistake, and they make you pay. And to allow Cooper Kupp to score a 70-yarder on 3rd and 20 again, basic cover 2, making those mistakes, you just can't do it. The 3 personal foul calls, which I thought were a little chippy. The mistakes that as you mentioned, not being on the same page with Brady, protection mistakes again and again and again. There was a litany of these, kicking the ball out of bounds twice. These are just things you cannot do against good teams. And how do you look at the Bucs playing, mentally, maybe one of their worst games of the season at this point of the season?
Yeah, it was surprising to see him, play that, to make those kinds of mistakes in that, in that big of a game. But it's funny too. I was thinking about this, going back to the Jets game that we did, obviously the Antonio Brown got all the attention. They hit a great comeback and Burr made the great throw, for the game-winning touchdown. But, a Jets team that won 4 games all season for, almost the entire game, they controlled the Bucs that game. I mean, they had the lead. They were outplaying them. Brady did not play well in that game either. So maybe just, a lot of things, injuries may add up towards the end. That's I think a great example of why it's so difficult to repeat, why you don't see teams repeat, because it's just, you get, I think, some mentally fatigued and, I think also the injuries obviously had a huge part because you're bringing in guys that hadn't practiced together a lot and things like that. But just down the stretch, I think they were just, maybe a little spent. Maybe it's just a little bit, after everything. And they just didn't quite have it.
I was surprised that, you use Tristan Wirfs and you're gonna suffer at right tackle, but I mean, man, everybody else along the offensive line played perhaps their worst game. Ali Marpet was not good in protection. Donovan Smith was not good in protection. Everybody was bad. That was kind of weird, wasn't it?
It was surprising, yeah, because Ross even mentioned that a couple times, where we saw some replays where Donovan Smith was just getting manhandled and, just getting beat. And Ross, he said, I understand with worked out. He said the Bucs need better from Donovan Smith. I mean, he's got to play better than that. And they just, And again, the Rams defense is one of the best. You have 2 Hall of Famers with, Aaron Donald and Von Miller. So, you expect some of that. But I think it was a lot worse, I think, than than I thought it would be.
Did Ross Tucker say anything about what the Bucs did on the offensive line? Because I said from early in the week they ought to move Kappa out to right tackle and Stenny into right guard. At least you have 2 healthy people. I think their idea that Wells could hold up on the outside is as injured as he was. I think it was a miscalculation. Did Tucker talk about that at all?
No, he didn't really get into that.
Okay.
Because I don't know if he had thought about that making that switch.
Yeah, I thought that was. I mean, obviously the protection didn't work out. I don't know if it would have worked better that way, but it's certainly what they tried didn't work out. And Stenny actually came in and played right tackle. I just don't understand that because Kappa can play tackle. He's a bigger guy. He's long.
Yeah. They do, and I don't know. This may have been a factor because I know they use Finney when they put it in extra linemen.
Yeah,
they go with the heavy package.
Yep.
So maybe they felt they needed him for that, and so they didn't want to make that switch part of it. That may have been part of it as well.
Yeah. Well, I think you got to look at your first 5 before you start looking at other formations. But look, again, the coaches are a hell of a lot smarter than me. But I wonder if they're lamenting that it's not not that they're not smart coaches. They're great coaches. They're fantastic coaches. But sometimes you make the wrong call. They're just like players. Coaches have bad games too. And I thought the Bucs got out coached in a lot of areas. You agree?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah, I agree. That was, yeah. I think every, you know, it's like every phase. Excuse me. The Bucs just struggled. You know, offense, defense, special teams, and coaching. I think they were. You know, like they say, you know, you kicked it out of bounds a couple times, and you know, the blown coverages, some of the, you know, the protection. You know, different. So yeah, I think everything. The Rams. You know, again, the Rams are a good team, so it's not. You know, you have to give them credit too.
Yeah,
but
of course.
So it was, you know, it was not a game that, you know, it's funny because Dave Pash, before the game, we were kind of talking and, you know, just kind of think, how do you think it's going to go? He said, well, I think it's a close game, you know, or if it's a blowout, the Bucs could win in a blowout.
Wow.
And, you know, some of the first quarter, we're kind of going, okay, we did not see the Rams in a blowout. We did not see this coming.
Well, I was a little concerned about this game. I thought that this would be a very tough game for the Bucs. I thought it was a very even game. I thought it would come down, you know, to the last 2 minutes. It did, but not the way I thought it would come down. But they made it a game. That last defensive possession for the Buccaneers was mind blowing, and I've talked about this all week. As smart as Todd Bowles is, he has no answer for Cooper Kupp. And when you look at the way they played that entire game, they didn't do anything special really for Cooper Kupp. It's almost like they just don't respect the guy, and he completely toasts them every single time.
Right. Yeah, and I know, and it's funny. Like you see it all the time. Coaches, they say, you know, don't let the best guy beat you. But then you see Kupp, and even and Travis Kelce in the Bills Chiefs game, and it's like, you don't know who he is. I mean, come on, that just seems kind of, you know.
Yeah, I think.
But
go ahead.
No, I'd say they just you have to give McVay credit too, because I think he does a lot of things scheme wise and motion wise to get him open. But still you can't let that if one guy, you can't let that guy beat you.
Yeah, and I thought, another thing I said before the game is when a game is this close, give me the better coaching staff and the better quarterback. I thought that was the Buccaneers, and I was wrong. At least on this day, Matthew Stafford was better. He got better protection though, which helps out tremendously. I mean, he could step into throws.
That made that did make a big difference. Yeah, no question.
Yeah,
but he was good. I was impressed.
Yeah, right. I mean, he wasn't only that last throw was ridiculous. I mean, as bad as the Bucs played that situation, I mean, you got to give him credit. I mean, Ndamukong Suh comes scot-free right up the gut. He's about to crush you. You take a few steps back off your back foot, and you flip it 40 yards in the air, 45 yards in the air, and drop it right in the bucket. I mean, that's a hell of a throw. That's a hell of a throw.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And also, the awareness, too, like to get everybody up and spike it and, just situational football, which, kind of contrast it with what, the Cowboys did the week before. I mean, you just know, everybody was aware. I mean, what we have to do, let's get to the line and, all that stuff. That's what wins games. I mean, that's the difference, especially in playoffs.
Boy, we saw situational football be so huge this past weekend, did we not? I mean, all these games coming down to the end, and you point to the marvel of the Chiefs getting off plays in 13 seconds, and the Cowboys can't get off one get off two in 14 seconds. It's situational football, and you got to tip your cap, and that's the way these games come down. This is why championships are made. These teams that are left, they're all very even, and it's who's smart enough and poised enough at the end of the game to make the plays.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And we get, and give the Bucs a lot of credit for that comeback. That throw Brady makes to Evans. Wow. That was a great throw. So, all right, you got in the conference games. Who you got in the championship games?
So, I'm actually leaning a little bit towards the 49ers. I think maybe I was kind of Rams year, but the 49ers have just been hot, and Kyle seems to, Shanahan seems to have the Rams number. So I'm kind of, I think that'll be a close one. I'm giving a little bit of an edge to San Francisco, and I think you have to go with the Chiefs. I mean, I really like what Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have done this year, and watching the Bengals. We've had them a couple times. I remember when we had them in the preseason game, and Burrow didn't play, and Chase was dropping a lot of balls in camp and stuff. But there was something that was like, this team might not be as bad as we think. Now, did I think they'd be a playoff team? No, but so I like what they've done, but I just think, going on the road at Kansas City and Mahomes, I think it's just too much for the Bengals. So I think Kansas City wins that pretty easily.
Yeah, I got Kansas City. I think it'll be a little closer game. That offensive line of the Bengals is just awful. That Kansas City defense is playing pretty well, except against, Josh Allen, who's just an absolute ridiculous quarterback at this point.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your take on the overtime rule? Should they change it? I mean, 10-1 since we went to this system, the latest system.
Yeah, I always say play defense. If you want the ball back, stop the other team. You play defense for 60 minutes. I think it's fine. Now, the numbers obviously, are big. I didn't realize it was quite that big of a difference. But I've always felt, if you want to get the ball back, play defense. Plus, the game is you played 60 minutes. The game didn't start at overtime, so you had plenty of chances to win it in regulation. So I personally don't like the idea. If they wanted to, the one thing I've heard people say, which I think is, in my personal opinion, I hate the college overtime.
I love it.
I just, that to me, it's like ending a basketball game with a free throw contest or something. I don't know, but maybe not quite that bad. But so I don't like the college overtime. I would be okay if they say, if you can't stop the team from scoring a touchdown, then you don't deserve to win.
Well, see, my retort to that is everything is set up for offenses to win. It's an offensive game, and by the end of the game, these defenses are just gassed because it takes more energy to play defense, and that's why it's 10-1, because the team that flips it's easier to score on offense, and if you got to score a touchdown to win the game, I think it gives you a little bit more incentive because you know what you got to do. It just bears out. I mean, if it's 10-1 on a coin flip, then it's 10-1 on a coin flip. The teams are even for the most part. I mean, they played 60 minutes. We don't have a winner, but yet you got more than 90% chance if you win the coin flip to win it. That number is obviously shows that it doesn't work. So as much as you may revile the college overtime, at least it gives Josh Allen a chance to get on the field and make a difference in overtime. To me, that's a much more equal situation. Either put it, an 8-minute clock and say whoever's winning at the end of the 8-minute clock wins the game. I'm better with that. But the current system is wrong. If you don't like the college overtime, put a clock on it. Put 10 minutes. And you know, and you gotta and see who wins. I don't think you're going to double overtime, but and that's only for the playoffs, by the way, only for the playoffs.
Yeah, right. I like the sudden death aspect of it. So if you wanted to say, okay, each team gets a possession, then I think I would be more okay with that because I do like the sudden death element of it.
Well, if each team gets a possession, you know what that is? It's the college overtime that you hate so much.
But not from the 20-yard line. But you have you have to go the length of the field. It's real football. You play like a full series. That's what I don't like about the college overtime, where you get the ball at the 25-yard line. Yeah, that if you play, you kick it off, you play a full possession.
I don't think there's a perfect solution, but I think the one they're doing now is not good. All right, my friend, good chat as always. We'll catch up with you down the line. Appreciate it, James.
All right, thanks, JP. Take
James Petralka, Fox Sports in the booth. All right, just a couple of minutes left here. Big thanks to James and Jason Romano. That was a very interesting conversation. All those conversations really today. Bruce Gradkowski breaking it down on our 10:30 segment this morning. So if you missed anything, go back and check it out on our app. FanStream Sports is the name. Just download that app, and you can also go to fanstreamsports.com and subscribe on our YouTube page, folks. That's a really good way, and get the notifications so you'll know when the show is up. It posts right after 12 o'clock. So if you miss it, you can always go back and watch it or listen to it. A lot of different ways to get the show. I thought it was also interesting what Jason said about the negotiations. He thinks it's going to get done February 24th, and we'll be starting on time. That's good. That's very, very, very promising because he is in the know on both sides. All right, Bolts tomorrow night at home against the Devils. We'll see you there for that. We'll have more information on that tomorrow. We'll be previewing that game. And I think we're going to have some very special guests coming on tomorrow. I'm working on a couple of things that will be really, really fun. And we will be going to the Super Bowl, by the way.
we will be at the Super Bowl on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday out in LA. So if you want to be a part of that as an advertiser, hit me up, JP at the JP Peterson Show.com. And we'll be in LA with Snoop Dogg too. I'll be doing a gig with Snoop Dogg. How about that? It's going to be fun. We'll have more information on that tomorrow's show. Have a great day, everybody.